the contrast between Democrat-led states and Republican-led states. Today's topic couldn't be more clear. Greg Abbott, state of Texas, to sign $10 billion property tax relief package. Meaning Texas residents are going to pay $10 billion less in taxes. What's my genius state here, Washington State, doing? Well, we are doing Washington State budget adds $9 billion in taxes. They load on $9 billion in taxes, raising affordability concerns. This is going to get more expensive. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's first take a look at the property tax relief bill. Could you imagine this headline coming out of a Democrat-led state? No, you can't. Why? Because they got to pay for all those social programs and all that nonsense. All that just silliness. All the stuff that Doge was trying to cut. Yeah, that stuff. Trying to got to pay for it. They got to up those taxes. So what's the deal with Abbott and his $10 billion property tax relief package? All right. Governor Greg Abbott is set to sign $10 billion deal. The signing ceremony for 3 key bills is scheduled for Don't Care. Details of the tax relief bills. Package includes Senate Bill. Okay, we don't care about that. Let's just get down to the brass bone. Let's get down to the brass knuckles, right? Senate Bill 4. This bill would increase the homestead exemption. You got a homestead instead of, you can't take the farm, right? Homestead exemption for school district taxes from $100K to $140. This is projected to save the average homeowner $484 annually. Could you imagine living in a state where something actually goes down in cost? Oh, my word. I'd be doing a little dance out in the cul-de-sac. Oh, yeah, we're not paying. And instead, we just bend over and take it because we're Washington State, and that's what we do, and we love it. And we just keep voting blue. Not all of us, but most of us. Not me. Senate Bill 23. This legislation raises the property tax exemption for Texans over 65. Old people get a tax break? I mean, I'm pretty close to there. I'm 9 years off, but, I always round up because when you're old, just round up. Just makes people, oh, he's really old. No. And those with disabilities from $10K to $60,000, the property tax exemption, when combined with the proposed homestead exemption, that first one, their total exemption would reach $200,000, resulting in an average annual savings of over $950 for more than 2 million homeowners. That makes sense. That makes absolute sense because it's going the right way. It's leadership doing the right things. Hey, we can do this. I think this is going to promote this. Let's do it. House Bill 9. This bill targets small businesses by raising the exemption for business personal property to $125,000. Doesn't say what it started off at. The projected average annual savings for business owners is $2,500. Not a huge amount, but not an insignificant amount either. That's money that they can work with. Put it back into marketing, advertising, or whatever. Support from state leadership. What they're saying. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick praised the collaborative effort behind the legislation. I mean, Texas has secured the southern border single-handedly. Remember Operation Lone Star? And everybody was looking at Greg Abbott and going, oh, I don't know about that. He's taking the law into his own hands. Well, somebody had to, because the federal government wasn't doing a damn thing. They were actually allowing people to just run across that border, right? 302,000 illegal immigrant in the month of December 2023, 302,000. 1 month. Border crossings, border encounters, I think is what they technically call them. And then Abbott came in and just basically dropped a hammer. And then we had, election change. And we actually got an adult. Some would say he's not a fully functioning adult, but you got an adult in the White House who isn't cognitively on massive decline, using the auto pen to get the will of his, advisory team to run the country. We didn't have that. Trump came on board. And all of a sudden, just 95% of the illegal crossings stop. I mean, in their tracks without legislation. Oh, if we just had some more legislation, we could secure the border. Those Republicans, they said no on that last go around of legislation. They're bad human beings. So this is the kind of positive stuff. This will help millions of Texans stay in their homes. Okay. Well, all right. But it's that things are a little bit cheaper. They're going to be a little bit cheaper because you've got more people coming into Texas. You've got more businesses coming in. The economics aren't going the other way for a Washington or for an Oregon, particularly in Oregon. We're going to cover that. Let seniors age in place because it's now they've got a little bit more money to do that. It's not going the wrong way like seniors here in Washington State. And that's what I'm telling a lot of people is, hey, if you're in my age demographic and you're mid 50s, mid to late 50s, maybe early 60s, Washington State ain't the place you want to be. Might be beautiful, and it is, and it's got some epic stuff going on. But from a financial standpoint, I just don't see retiring here. It just doesn't make sense because like this next one, well, we're going to finish this out and then I'll bring you back to that thought. And allow others to grow their businesses for generations to come, Betancourt said. Yeah, the reduction, $2,500 and basically taxes you don't have to pay, right? Is that what it was? I think so. That's what we're going to go with anyway, right? Whereas now I'm bringing you back to that Washington state budget adds $9 billion in taxes, raising affordability concerns because that's the direction Washington is going. You've got less tax revenue coming in. Your downtown cores are all hollowed out. Oregon in particular is hollowed out. And you're missing you're missing massive blocks of tax revenue. So where are you going to make up for that for all your social programs? You're going to tax the F out of the constituents who are going to go, okay, oh, just give me another one. Just give me another one. Oh, so good. And then keep voting blue. And then they just keep voting blue. I mean, yeah. Anyway, podcast for days, weeks, months, years, decades. Here's another indicator. Oregon Clean Energy Company files for bankruptcy, claiming more than $300 million in debt. Here's a Democrat-run state, Oregon. You got a company, the Toledo battery manufacturer Powen filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy Tuesday. And you know what they do? They make high-capacity batteries designed to store energy generated by solar arrays and wind farms. You got batteries storing solar energy and turbine power. You got that wind. You got that wind farm going on, and you can't make that go. And you're $300 million upside down. Maybe their business plan was just off. But doesn't it sound like? I mean, if you just open that company up in Oregon, that it's going to be some kind of winner. Oh, you mean batteries storing solar energy and wind farms? They haven't really taken off. Solar batteries sure have, but why hasn't this company been able to make it? You know what I mean? It's going to lay off nearly 250 employees. Because of the uncertain situation, the privately held company said it had just 85 employees, down from 500 at the start of the year. That is a free-for-all. That is just boop, straight down. So not the right direction. Here's another company. Huge blow for Oregon as woke state's second biggest company moves headquarters to Arizona with the Republicans blaming Democrats. Hey, you're pushing businesses out of the state because you're doing all the taxation. And you know, if everything were like for like, meaning like your downtown cores, you had public safety was important, and you didn't have the tents, and you didn't have the homelessness and the drugs and the crime and the defecation on the human sidewalks. If all those things were similar, which they're not because they're wildly, none really in Republican and loaded up in Democrat states, you've got that whole massive contrast. Then you'd have a like per like of companies leaving versus companies moving in, that kind of thing. And there's a lot to that. I mean, here in Seattle, you've got a ton of people still coming here, because there's such a big job market. But that has slowed down. The tech industry has slowed down. It's gotten wonky out there. I follow a lot of kids that are, in between jobs, trying to get jobs, getting a job here, that support all of the tech industry. And it's a tough time out there right now trying to get hired on, because companies are downsizing versus, layering on like they did during the pandemic. So here you've got, this is Oregon's second biggest company. Iconic coffee chain founded in Oregon, Dutch Brothers, confirmed this week that it will shift operations from its original base in Grants Pass, which is on the western side of Oregon, down near California. The $11.8 billion drive-through coffee business. I don't drink coffee, so I had heard of this, but you're not going to see me driving through your coffees. Oh, I'll have a double mocha, whatever. No, I'm not having that. I'll have whatever sandwich you got, and I'll do it. A green tea if I have to. No, I do that a lot. So you got $11.8 billion drive-through business, which is Oregon's second most valuable company. Now, one of the articles here said that, here it is. Oregon Live. Let's get this going. Oregon Live, which was this article over here that we just looked at. But Oregon Live said Dutch Brothers executives living near the current headquarters in Grants Pass, which is out in the middle of nowhere, had struggled to find adequate childcare in the small city. Your CEOs, your executives of a $12 billion company can't work out how to get a nanny up in there? Okay. All right. Whatever. No, they're going to, they're expanding their base, and they are going after Texas and Tennessee as their biggest expansion cities that they're going to. So they are moving their headquarters to Arizona because it's just more geographically located. And you know what Oregon's leadership does? Well, Oregon's leadership just says, where is that? Here we go. Yeah. Oregon political leaders lament Dutch Brothers move out of state. It's so sad. So sad. They're leaving. I don't understand why they're leaving. Why are they going? It's like Starbucks moving out of downtown Seattle, where you've got millions and millions and millions of people walking around at Pike Place Market. Now, I did a little walk around. In downtown Seattle with my son Kieran on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. We're kind of scoping out what things might be looking like ahead of the No Kings protest, which was a total dud, absolute dud, just nothing burger. You had 75,000 people and not a single riot out of that. I mean, what's the point? People holding signs that said, no kings, no secret police, no Nazis. And you're like, what? You're delusional. None of those things exist. We're not doing those. But if you want to hold a sign with 74,999 of your closest friends, I say go for it. But at least have a good riot so I can get some footage. I mean, I hustled my way back from Lake Washington, where I was doing a boat trip with a bunch of my son's friends and from fraternity, from the frat days, and some of their coworkers. We hustled back so I could do a live stream at 8:30 on Saturday night. We went up to Cal Anderson Park because we checked, the phone, and there was nothing going on. And I'm like, 75,000 people marched in Seattle and nothing's going on? That's how far the Democrats have fallen. They can't even get a good riot together. Businesses moving out, 75,000 people, no riot? Come on now. Now, Oregon, Portland, they held their own. Antifa down there, you got Rose City Antifa. You can always count on Rose City Antifa to mix things up. They were breaking into the ICE complex down there. But here in Seattle, Antifa on Wednesday, before the No Kings protest, they went pretty hard with graffiti on the ICE building on 2nd Avenue in downtown Seattle. I went over there. I took pictures of that. Yeah, they, F ICE and turn the heat up when ICE is here. It was like a bunch of F-bombs, all over the front of the building. Just, Yeah, terrible look, terrible look. But that's what they do. That's what Antifa does. That's what the far left does. And then the actual march took place on a Saturday, this past Saturday, and it went from like 12 or 1 until 4. And then just boom, everybody went home. There's nobody around. Cal Anderson Field, where Chop and Chaz was, that was the big play field, big ball field. It had less people than normal. And this was hours after the protest. So some people are saying, well, that's because they were all paid protesters and they all went home because there was no OT. No OT. No OT. Well, so guess we're going to take our signs and we're just going to go home. And yeah. So at the end of the day, 75,000 people march in Seattle, no violence. And the next morning they wake up and there's still no kings. There's still no Nazis. There's still no secret police. But Trump is president. And it's Father's Day. Trump is your daddy. So, Democrats, how did that work out? How did carrying those signs and doing that for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours, 3, 4 hours? How'd that work out? What did you get from that? What did you get from that? What exactly? What you felt better. It's about feelings, isn't it? It's about feelings. Republicans don't work off of feelings. Conservatives don't work off of feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. Right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And it kind of comes back to, well, not that one, this one. This headline. Huge blow for Oregon versus this one. Political leaders lament Dutch brothers move out of state. Same topic, but we feel we're lamenting the fact that they're moving out because this is not a state that's conducive to operating your business in, like Washington, like Seattle has become. Let's just tax Amazon. Well, let's just tax this. Let's tax that. $9 billion in extra taxes. Additional taxes layered on. And our governor has basically told us, well, with a straight face, we're all going to have to make some sacrifices. We're all going to have to make some sacrifices. Well, what about the Republican, portion of Washington state legislature where they didn't layer on any taxes at all and just didn't spend a bunch of money on absolute nonsense that your budget includes? What about that? Oh, no, yeah, you can't do it. We got to spend money. We got to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on absolute horseshit nonsense. That's what we're doing. And that's why people are leaving. And that's why businesses are leaving. That's why Dutch Brothers is leaving. That's why the windmill company is leaving. Because they can't make a go of it. It's not a business pro-friendly. And we're not even addressing any of the other ridiculousness, which is businesses in these areas. So getting back to my story, I walked around, and I'll tie it in. I walked on the Blade, which is Seattle's arguably one of the worst little 1-block sections. It's massive amount of fentanyl. Everybody's dealing fentanyl, doing fentanyl, and they were. And so I videoed going up the street, and a gentleman, a young man, started screaming at me. And he called me the N-word 3 times and said that he was going to beat my N-word ass because I was filming on a sidewalk in downtown Seattle. He said he was going to beat me up. He's probably 5'10", 140. And I'm like, okay. So all I did was kind of veer off the sidewalk, got on the street, videotaped for a little bit longer, and then hit stop because my son had just said, hey, Dad, whatever you do here, just make it discreet. And I was being discreet. It wasn't wildly obvious, but the guy knew what was going on. And I was walking right through just this den of people doing drugs on a sidewalk 2 blocks away from Pike Place Market. We walked there. We took a look at Pike Place. It looked fine. It was great. But the Blade in Seattle, you just got shenanigans. And we did see a pile of human excrement on the sidewalk. It was, perfect. 2 blocks away from Pike Place Market. Just, just a dump right there. Just a dump. Yep. That's pleasant. That's great. Just a bunch of drugs going on and people screaming at me, walking on the street. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what you get. It's so standard. So any of that stuff is going to drive a business away, let alone the, tax relief of 9 billion or 10 billion or layered on taxes of 9 billion, which is what Washington State, where I'm at, is getting. So, all of these things work together to create an environment where businesses stay, people stay, businesses leave, people leave. And, this is just so easy to point out. And the problem is that the Democrats, I think they just flat don't care. They're not business oriented. They can't understand that tax revenue comes from businesses in their community. They just don't seem to grasp that for some reason, because otherwise they'd be doing more. So most of this seems to me to be just totally on purpose. On purpose. Hey, let's just allow a bunch of people to do drugs, and then we'll just decriminalize drugs themselves, and we'll allow people to live in tents and homelessness everywhere. Anybody who wants to be homeless, just, and we'll have all these programs where we'll pay for them. We'll pay for everything but the drugs. And wow, people are leaving. What's going on? Our revenue stream is dropping. That's not good. Where are we going to come up with the difference? Well, we're going to come up with that difference like Washington, $9 billion in taxes, raising affordability concerns. I have concerns that we're not going to be able to pay our bills down the road. So let's layer on $9 billion in new taxes. That's what we're doing. I mean, we're doing it in real time. And our governor is stating to us, you guys are going to have to make some sacrifices. Well, why are we making sacrifices for you with your ridiculous budget when Texas is doing their thing? Hey, they're making it cheaper for people to live. That's weird. They're making it more incentivized for businesses to be there. They're making it easier for senior citizens to remain in their homes. Now, I know these are two, I cherry pick two different events, but it's one of those, this is a national storyline on both states. And it's very side by side. In real estate appraisal, we compare that a matched pair analysis. You've got two states. You got basically, within $1 billion, one going up, one going down. It's optics. Look at the optics. Where do you want to be? You're young. You're generational wealth building. You want to build a business. You go to Washington State. You're going to go to Oregon? Texas? Maybe. That's an option. You've got all those things to kind of to consider with, but overall, you've got the Democrat states going the wrong direction. They're invariably going the wrong direction. And the headline here says it all: raising affordability concerns. I am concerned. I am not going to be able to pay my bills. I'm a business. I can't pay my bills. It's concerning. More taxation. That's concerning. It's more than concerning. It's frightening. It's frightening. And there's a lot of people in Washington State looking to get out. And they will. They will. Because it's not concerning. It is absolutely driving people out because they can't afford it. You've already got massively expensive housing here in Washington State. It's insane. The numbers are insane. One of the big pushes is people from downtown cores are still moving out to the suburbs. And because interest rates are as high, they were renters in downtown. Now nobody's working there, or you can, still commute back in, and nobody wants to live in the big liberal, bastions like downtown Seattle, Helltown, Belltown, where you got the Belltown Cat or the Hellcat. You got a guy driving it around. That guy's going to do some time. You got people you got cops chasing drug dealers up and down the streets, shooting at them. They're shooting back. I mean, you've got some real wild, wild west stuff going on here. And more than affordability concerns, people are leaving. Hey, that's human poop on the sidewalk. Maybe I don't want that in my environment. Where can I go? Away. Texas? Yeah, good option, especially for businesses because it's so centrally located in the United States, right? And cheap gasoline there. What's gas here? third highest in the United States, something like that, invariably, or third highest taxes on gasoline in the United States here in Washington State. How much is gas a gallon in Texas? Let me know. All my peeps in Texas, let me know. You guys post that stuff all the time, and it's super helpful for me because I can't be everywhere. Could I go online and look at it? Yeah, but it's super important for everybody to see. Well, how much is gas in Texas? Oh, that's a lot cheaper. That has like a 2 or a 3 in front of it. Weird, because we're coming up close on 5 here in Washington State. Upper fours. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell. And if you like this video, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.